Okay, so I wanted to give you a quick update on the 6E Euro futures, as this isn't something that I've done for a while now. So this is the trend jumper 6E trade plan chart here. It's a 500 volume chart, and you can see that this was Friday, and this is the new contract SEP, and I'll just show you the trade that we had on Friday before going over a few stats. So first of all, we can see that there was a trade early on. Now normally I would try and take a trade early on, regardless in this plan, near the beginning of the trade plan and at the European cash open, because I tend to find that the market moves, and so it's worth taking the trade no matter what. And you can see that actually this trade would have done alright anyway, but it was into those EMAs. You had to get in sync. It just didn't feel quite right. Anyway, so you can see that the market did start to flow down and trend down, not massively, but it began to trend down, and there was a jump line cross set up here, the cyan markers here. And we can see that first of all, I just want to point something out, is that there are these two swing lows here, which were the low of the day early on, and so I will just mark those out, because you can see if you look to the right that the stop is actually right on that price, and so you'd adjust your stop to at least 10, possibly 11. I usually don't adjust around whole numbers, only if it's already shown to be reacting to it, or it's moved quite a long distance to get there, and it's looking the market's looking for a turning point already and doesn't have another reference close by. So in this case it will be adjusted to 11, and we can see that what actually happened was it triggered in. It did come back and hit 136.09, and that would have been your stop out. You might say here as well, look, it's going into 136 even. That's a big number, and yes, I'd agree with that. But I do know that we've not really stopped right on 136 each time. So if I'm going to take this, trade, I've either got to take it at 135.99, in which case I'm really making that risk reward, especially considering I already adjusted on 136.11 for the stop, 2 ticks. It's going to be either that or just not adjust at all, in the hopes that it's just going to bleed through that level, and I think that knowing that it's been there already quite a lot and it's been back and forth through it, if it does go through there, it could still turn from 99, 98, and so it's take it or don't, take it at this price or don't. And I took this trade, and as we saw, it came back to that stop out level, but we didn't get stopped out because we moved it to 136.11. Just change that so we can see where it is. And then we got a bit of a follow through move down. We got straight to target 1, which is the money management kicking in, and we actually got straight to target 2, and got the exit on half the position. Now at this point you're having to trail this manually, 2 ticks behind the jump line. Jump line is currently at 92, so we're looking at 94, and there's the stop out there. And so this is a for a 2-position contract, per a 2-position trade per contract. For the first position it's 02 to 94, which is 8 ticks, $100 per contract, and it's the same for the exactly the same for the trailing stop in this case. Now that might not seem like a absolutely huge amount, but it's the consistency of the product that you want to focus on. And having a look at some of the stats, you can see that actually the Euro is a good product. And one thing I would like to just point out here is that if you're getting into trading, if you are looking to learn how to trade futures, you might see the DAX or the or crude oil or one of these plans that you think is a really great plan, and that's true, but you can actually trade a lot more sensibly by trading the micro 6E futures, and that's 1/10 of the value per tick. So it's M6E, I think, both on TradeStation and NinjaTrader. For the contract code, it's $1.25 a tick. Although the product doesn't have a huge amount of volume, there are market makers there that will take your trade. So if you look at the depth of market, and that's the critical thing, whether you can actually take the trade and get out of your trade, you are actually able to do that. And although you're not going to make a lot of money on it, if you're just learning, you can get into it, and once you're comfortable with it, you can step up to the full 6E futures seamlessly. And the full 6E futures are $12.25 a tick. So let's have a look at some of these stats then. So you can see here that this is the primary stats trade log for the 6E, and I've got quite a few different columns here, and eventually, I don't know, it may be necessary to move to Access or something like that, but this is pretty good. It serves me pretty well at the moment. And I've added a column here just because somebody was asking recently in the European Session Trade Room that whether the trailing stops were as effective as the fixed, and I thought, well, okay, it's pretty simple to add that column just to make a direct comparison. So that's what I did, and we'll take a look at how to get that figure in using a pivot table. So if we just go to insert pivot table, then you'll come get this create pivot table depending on which version of Excel you've got. This is 2013. Then you want to select your table range. So I'll go back to the 6E log, and you can select all the columns here, or just the ones that are relevant. I'll just select all of them for now. So I've actually selected the columns, not just the table, and that makes it easy to refresh the data later on. So I'll just hit enter twice on that, and I've got now my pivot table fields on the right here. So what I want to do is I want to say just go back here. So we want to look at this field here, target type against profit. So let's just find target type, and we'll put that as the rows. Let's get rid of that blank. And we want to put the summation values as the profit, and we want to change that to average of profit. We'll just do put the $sign in there, and you can actually see that although for this plan you do frequently get it where target 2 makes quite a significant amount than the trailing trailing stop. Overall, the average for each is pretty similar. Now another statistic here which might be more suitable, and I've just thought of it and I'll have to consider how to do this, but it's to compare rather than just all of these values, but you might get a better idea of the fixed and the trailing if you only look at those values when the fixed reaches T2. So say here, for example, the last trade, what's the value of the trailing stop relative to the value of the fixed target when the fixed target is met. So that's one for the next video. So what we'll do now is we'll just have a quick look at the summary chart that I've done here, and then we'll wrap things up. So you can see here, let me just zoom out here slightly. You can see here what I've done is I've put an overall equity curve on the back on a secondary axis here, and I've put each of the different trade types just as a scatter chart. So you can see early on in this plan there are a few scratches. There's also a discretionary exit, and this was when I was kind of figuring out the plan, and that's not something that's particularly unusual. You can see that the lock-ins were really tight, which they should be either on 0 or 1 tick, which is what they should be normally, or occasionally 2 ticks. You can see that the stops are all in this tight band, and that's pretty much to be expected. Remember that the stops are generated by the size of the setup bar, and therefore within a certain amount of variability you're going to have a fairly consistent stop size based on that 500 volume bar for this chart, for this trade plan. And you can see that target 2 does vary a little bit more, and then you can see the trailing stop really varies considerably more, but you've got the chance of getting quite a significant amount more. And it's interesting that these outliers all seem to be within the same area, although there's only 4. You can see here as well. So once it gets beyond 200, you see that it's like 275, and then maybe 375, and it all goes to the same sort of area. It'll be interesting to see whether that plays out over more trades, but this gives you a really good idea about the consistency of the plan with that equity curve and the location of the profitable trades and the stop outs that you can see there. So I hope you take a look at the 6E futures and the M6E futures, whether you are a beginning trader looking to learn and not put too much capital at risk early on, or you're a European session trader who's interested in trading fairly consistent, good profitable product which is scalable. And thanks for watching this video.